Ananshita.
Mm-hmm.
Since many of the people are not good in coding, so
Mm-hmm.
directly moving to hacker rank will work.
Yeah, definitely it will work because there are various levels of coding, and I think Aditya would be best one to answer it.
Sure. So first of all, thanks a lot for the question. And the question is interesting. So one of the things, probably as a follow-up, I would like to know what confidence the person has with respect to coding, and with respect to that, going to hacker rank or not going to hacker rank might increase or decrease the confidence altogether. So if the guy wants to get some hands-on with respect to with a coding language or getting familiarity with that, I would recommend the person to go ahead and take a few courses with respect to a language of their choice. So Coursera and Udacity both have good courses in for beginners, which can actually get you started with a particular coding language. So the two that comes to my mind right away is Udacity's Introduction to Programming CS 101 and Coursera's Algorithms course by Princeton University. So one of the courses is primarily focused on Python while the other one is focused on Java. So yeah, so both these courses gets you well versed with the syntax of the language and get and probably help you overcome your fear about writing a particular function or really small functions in those language. After that, you can easily go ahead on any of the platforms we had been discussing. And Chetan rightly outlined, the questions there have varied level of difficulty. So if you are starting for the first time, you can go ahead for questions which have large number of submissions or which have been shown as lower in the difficulty standard. So
Yeah,
sites
primary
and
level.
yeah, the primary level. And another thing, what another approach what you can try to do is, whenever you have started learning a particular algorithm, a particular data structure, there are certain sites on the internet which classify the problems into various buckets. So for example, questions on arrays, questions on dynamic programming, questions on stacks, questions on binary search. So you can go ahead, identify your area of whatever you want to practice, pick up the problems, and try applying the solutions towards that. So the biggest part is that even if you have started with hacker rank, you have failed on something, it's not something to be disheartened about. So it happens a lot. So the important part is to first give a best shot towards a question, and in a limited time. So don't try to give it like a day or so. Always try to give it like an hour or so, and then go ahead, start reading some hints. So in order to be able to move ahead and make some progress into your thought process. So probably that should help you get started with your competitive coding journey, or probably the coding journey altogether.
Yes, sir. So, sir,
Yes,
the next
Ashwarya.
question is from
Sure.
Vinay Singh. He wants to ask
Mm-hmm.
that when we start developing projects, most of us just develop web applications. So, what are the other domains in which we can do projects?
To answer it, it's winner, right?
Yes, sir.
So winner, you should start. You can also start with mobile apps, and for the backend process, you can work with Firebase. That's a quite good database that is available online itself. So you can also start with that part. And I would like Gaurav to add something to it.
Yes, Vinay. I mean, I would just like to add a sway away a bit from this particular question and then come back to this. Design thinking is one thing which you guys can go through and understand that technology always will remain an enabler for this, for any real world problem. Technology in itself is not a solution. You may call a couple of instances like Uber mobile app. So probably technology is the only solution. But moreover, you should understand that technology is more about enabling those real life problems. So if my audience is such that they are only available on mobile, then probably a mobile app will be a good option for me. If someone is facing in college, some person is doing some job manually, writing, maintaining a register for it, and you develop a simple one single desktop based application where he could just enter form and you made his life easy, then that is a super project. You can project it anywhere. You can get it written from your college as well, that you help solving this small problem. Probably you pick your college website for admission contact queries and somehow easy it to making that request reach to your admin people very easily, making the IT request reach to the considerable person very easily. So point I want to emphasize is IT technology is just the enabler. So project could be anything. It could be a desktop app, it could be a mobile app, it could be a website, it could just be a simple script which I every time need to go and execute on my local machine to probably dump all the videos from a folder. So that will work.
Yeah, I would like to add one more point here. The thing that we appreciate best in the companies is the one person who is able to write the problem in a single page. That person is the most important person in the company, who is able to write the solution of a problem in a single word page within some bullet points. If you are able to do that, you are able to find who are the actors in that problem and what process they are going to execute in that problem. Identification and use case and user story identification is the best part. So you don't need any technology at all for this thing. So just as Gaurav already have mentioned, just try to think in the solution perspective, not in the technology. Technology is just enabler. Yes, Aishwarya, we can move to next.
Yes. Okay. So the next question is from Vishal Gupta. He wants to
Hmm.
ask that in this pandemic situation, what is the necessary changes a candidate should bring in himself or in his knowledge?
Aditya, we were discussing this other day, what these discipline and organizations. So we can put it here.
Yeah, I was about to pick up the mic myself. So yeah, so first
Yeah.
of all, it's a really nice question, and probably with the pandemic situation and the setup of learning changing from being a classroom to a virtual classroom, what we believe is the requirement of being able to track yourself on a level which is smaller than what you were doing previously. So anything which you were doing previously and having a checkpoint of, let's say, a month or a quarter, so you should try aiming for goals which are shorter than that. So probably start aiming for weekly goals, or probably start taking daily goals on yourself to keep a track of what you want to do, and what you want to probably and what's your goal at the end of the day. So keep a track of the progress in that way, and probably after a certain amount of time, mm, retrospect on that progress, probably with yourself or with the teacher and with a peer, to understand what could have been done differently to improve, to move towards the goal in a faster manner, or probably in to move towards a goal in a different manner altogether. Faster is not always the right word. Different
Yes.
is the right word. So probably this should help you improve yourself, become more consistent, more self-disciplined, and that's one of the skills which is really important in these times of pandemics. So
Definitely. I
does that answer your question? So I think I accidentally took care of another question which I was seeing in the chats, which is regarding how to be consistent. So
Yeah.
yeah, so please let me know if both the questions got answered. So
So
Yes.
Gaurav, would you like to add something?
I think that was uh, that was sufficient enough. Adit hardly leaves any room for anyone else to add.
that's that's very humble for you. Humble of you, Gaurav.
Aishwarya, yes, we can
Yes, sir.
take up the next question.
Yes.
Sure.
So there is a question from first year student.